And very pleased to have this event here in Silicon Valley and with the partners that have emerged to put this together. And I'll say a few words about that in a minute. So I'd like to start a little bit about the genesis of this conference. And it really came about through some conversations that I've been having with Tom Shoesmith of Pillsbury and Drew Bernstein of Martin Bernstein and Pinchuk. And the three of us have been people who, for a period of time, dedicated an intense amount of focus to China and cross-border transactions. And I think I probably have had the least amount of trips to China of the three of us, but I've flown over to China, I think 45 times. I've been to over 50 cities all around China. I've been to, I've actually worked, I think, with over 100 companies from China that have accessed capital in the U.S., either gone public or raised private financing. Visited countless factories, farms, crawled down mines, been to dairies, pretty much everything that every type of business that I can imagine in a number of provinces all around the country. And in the course of that, I would often run into, I'd either be with conference calls early in the morning, often with one of these two fellows, or running into them in airports and living what I'm sure many of you have experienced as this exciting / potentially debilitating U.S.-China lifestyle in the capital markets. And in the course of that, I think that the people in this room who've done that have all gained a valuable, although in some ways maybe fairly expensive, education, and learned a lot about between, first of all, the tremendous excitement and energy and sense of possibility that you have when working with Chinese businesses in China, and then also learned about the different levels of reality that you begin to understand only if you've had that experience. And so the three of us have been involved over the years in different events focused on helping Chinese companies that want to access U.S. capital and U.S. investors that want to invest in China. But the focus of today's event is a little bit different. And how it came about is that as I was talking to them, in each case our practices have changed a little bit, where we're seeing more and more reverse flow, where it's either Chinese capital coming to invest in the U.S. or U.S. companies for whom, from early on, China is a front and center focus of their business strategies. And it's either the most important or one of the top few most important. And this phenomenon of kind of a new paradigm of thinking about how the interactions between these two nations, the new levels that are emerging, that all led to the conversations that led to our event today. And what we were finding is that increasingly we were talking to CEOs of companies based here in the U.S., based in Europe and other parts of the world, where the China focus was a big part of their business, and there were a lot of specific issues that they were dealing with as a result of that. And so that's why we thought this would be a very valuable event, particularly here in Silicon Valley. And I guess one reason is because companies in the Valley and in the technology sector tend to be international by nature, and also the interests of many of the sources of capital in China are highly focused on the Valley as well. So we thought this was a great place to have this event. So in the course of today, what we hope we provide you with, and particularly the CEOs in the room, is kind of a user's guide. So if you're thinking about China as a core part of your strategy, whether it's a place to build your business or to raise capital, what are the key things that you need to be thinking about? And I hope over the course of today's panels, you bring away not number of core ideas that you can apply, but also life lessons that other people have learned and you can benefit from, so you don't have to go learn those lessons on your own, which always can be a somewhat painful experience. So among the things that I've seen that companies really need to think about that are a little bit different in China are, first of all, the role of the government.